I'm looking at both of you, and all I see is this. Mouths chewing.
If you had all the money in the world, wouldn't you spend it?
I mean, I don't have all the money in the world, and I still spend it.
Yeah, that's a good point. I call it wackadoodle time.
Wackadoodle time.
Spell it.
W
IT.
A CKA wacka DOODLE doodle
I wasn't paying
TIME
attention.
No, time is spelled THYME.
WACKA DOODLE wackadoodle time.
That's pretty good. All right.
Punch it to me.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the ColbyCast, where we dive into movies,
21 gigawatts!
TV,
Sometimes I'll start a sentence, and I don't even know where it's going. I just hope I find it along the way.
and everything in between.
Well, I don't know how you get a podcast, but you should look into it.
I'm Colby, and I'm joined by my two awesome sons, Caleb
I don't know how to tie my shoes.
and Luke.
I never shut up.
Together, we're your friendly neighborhood pop culture nerds, here to share our thoughts on Star Wars, Marvel, the latest entertainment news, and maybe even some sports.
You believe in miracles? Yes!
So grab a piece of cake
Cake! Everybody loves cakes.
and find a comfy spot on the couch, because this is your place for community and conversation about pop culture and storytelling.
What an incredible smell you've discovered.
Do you guys know that this is episode 184 of the ColbyCast? And of those 184 episodes, we have a streak of 135 weeks where we have released an episode. We haven't missed a week in 135 weeks.
That's a lot of weeks.
Yeah, that's a long time.
I'm pretty impressed. I would like to give 4 snaps.
You would think we would have a lot more to do than just sit here and throw words at each other with our mouths.
No. We prioritize our time greatly, and that's why we're sitting here in front of microphones just after the Dodgers won the World Series, so that we can throw some more words at each other and keep our streak alive.
2 words. Let's go.
I thought you would even say 3 words. Let's cussing go.
That would have been good. Not enough foresight.
Luke, how do you feel? How are you? Are you okay? The Dodgers have won the World Series. They are the World Series champs. Just want to check in with you, do a quick mental health check. How you doing?
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't care less, but I'm happy that it's over, and I'm glad that it happened because now I get to enjoy. I think I'm going to appreciate the next few months even more because I had to endure what I had endured in the past few months.
So you're just happy that it's over. So even hate watching the Dodgers playoff run as a Padres fan hasn't gotten you any more invested in baseball as a thing?
The opposite. It's made me realize probably isn't even worth the hate.
You're just gotta save your. That's how much you're not a fan of baseball. You're just like, I'm glad it's over.
No, sometimes they hit the ball near people and it gets caught. That's my favorite part.
You're a bummer. Stop talking. Dodgers are the world champ, and I don't care. I don't care who hates. This is why I started saying, if you had all the money in the world, wouldn't you spend it?
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're the Dodgers, they did like they
Spend
we
more. Spend more. Why
yeah.
not?
Well, they
Who needs
might because
all-star games anymore when you can just field an all-star roster all the time?
I mean, if you got the money, why not? Um,
Yep.
you know what else it does? It breeds so much hatred that I think it encourages organizations with all the money in the world to just spend more of it because they know, no, let's just swing right into the swerve here. We're going to go buy another $100 billion worth of championships and merchandise sales. So, hey,
You
congratulations,
know,
Dodgers.
even though Freddie Freeman is the MVP, the real MVPs, and they need a shout out, are Otani's legal team. Because if it all goes down the chute before the season even starts or early in the season, I don't even remember anymore. None of this happens.
Yeah, that is not how they wanted to start the season, or the Otani era in Dodger baseball was with all those legal troubles and that stuff. But hey, that's a long gone memory because Freddie Freeman has his own Kirk Gibson moment and hit himself a grand slam home run in Game One, and the Yankees never recovered. I want to go back to the hater though for a second because it's just so much fun to hear him talk. You're not a fan in any way, shape, or form of the New York Yankees, though, Luke, are you?
No.
How about the dude? I mean, this just happened like yesterday. The dude that ripped the ball out of Mookie Betts' glove when he went up
Oh,
to catch it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm a fan of him.
No,
You're
yuck.
an idiot.
No, no, no. That I respect it. I respect it. Because here's the thing. Here's the thing. If somehow, some way, the Yankees did pull off a reverse sweep, that would have been the catalyst, and that to me is prime hating.
Yeah. Okay. That was just gross. I saw that and I'm like,
Yeah.
that's my man Mookie. You can't be doing that kind of stuff to my man Mookie. I have always been a fan of Mookie Betts. Well, at least when he came to the Dodgers. So yeah, don't abuse the glove like that.
I don't know. Maybe wear padding.
What?
Put glass up around the like a ice hockey rink. Well, listener, let me clue you in on a couple things here. If you can't already tell, we're talking tonight. This is a conversation on the couch. We're here recording. Life has been something that has pushed our schedule around recently with schooling and working and vacationing and all kinds of things. Wonderful, wonderful reasons. But it has sort of made this episode a challenge. But we're here because we love you guys and we want to put this out there for you guys to listen to. So, full disclosure. Should I go? Should I go full disclosure? There's
No.
no subject tonight. We're going to ask each other questions. We're gonna get silly, and you know what? Sometimes it's been the most popular episodes of the ColbyCast is when we just sort of ramble and talk about who knows what. But you know what? We're not going to spoil anything for you, so don't worry. No spoilers. That's the only rule. Caleb, yes,
You know what today is technically for the person who is going to listen to us just throw words out of our mouth
today
on
is
the new.
Halloween.
Yeah, today is Halloween.
Yeah.
Technically, yeah. I'm gonna say, hey Caleb, are you still on cloud nine, talking about the Dodgers winning the World Series? Yeah, I am. But my question for you guys is, what is a character or Halloween costume from whatever, use your imaginations, that you wish that you could have dressed up as a kid or now and have it be exactly how it comes out of your imagination?
Lore accurate Godzilla.
Like that massive?
Yeah, I wish that I could have been a 1,000 foot tall dinosaur.
I love it.
Um,
That is a great answer.
I don't know that I wish that I had been anything because I think I've accomplished everything I wanted to accomplish. Last year I was a pumpkin head with a live pumpkin on my head. Well, it was dead, but I preserved it. And then the year before that, I was toast. And this year, I'm a Target basket. And I don't know what more I could possibly want.
You're telling me that Justin Bieber haircut Luke with a beanie on didn't want to be like, I don't know, like Cyborg or something?
Cyborg's lame.
Yeah, I know, but
No,
like
Cyborg's awesome. What are you talking about?
Cyborg was cool. And then they ended Teen Titans, and he went back to being lame. No, I don't
I
know. I don't have anything that I'm itching to be other than a Target basket, and I get to be a Target basket.
I
so are you gonna
had a
like
Freddy Krueger mask when I was a kid, and I could not get a red and green striped sweater like Freddy Krueger because back in those days the costumes were not as, like,
accessible?
well, accessible, but also like accurate, and like that is some pretty extravagant costumes out there now. Like we just went to a trunk or treat like over the weekend, and there was a Freddy Krueger in there, and he had a cool sweater. I literally got a red and white striped sweater, and my friends and I colored the white stripes in with a green marker so that I could walk around with my Freddy Krueger mask and my Freddy Krueger knife hands, which was sort of a precursor to Edward Scissorhands, if you think about it, and a very homemade red and white striped sweater that turned into a red and green. That was a pretty cool. We walked around the mall, and people looked at me funny.
You're
That's
telling me
always
you
fun.
didn't color it with a green crayon?
Thank you for saying it right. First of all, no, I did not color it with a green crayon. It was a green marker.
Respect.
Well, what's your answer?
Who you asking?
You.
Oh, me. I don't know. I just asked the question. I put no thought into it. It just jumped in my brain.
No, here's another rule. So no spoilers, and also you have to have an answer for your own question, or else you can't
Dang.
ask it.
Okay. Pretend like we're just starting now. Um, we didn't ask another question. Who wants to ask the first question?
Well, I want to tell a story first. Um, I'm sure I've told you guys this, but my senior year in high school was a complete joke. I had 3 classes a day. One of them was an elective. One of them I was a tutor, and in I want to say the first semester, the only real class I had was physics, and my physics teacher was a total weirdo. I had a working theory that he was a lizard. Um, he he just super dry humored. His classroom wasn't decorated at all with anything. Um, and he showed up, lectured, and then said, "Okay, do your homework the rest of the time." And it was just dead quiet all the time, no personality. And me being probably in my prime of office fandom, I decided for Halloween I was going to be Dwight's cousin Mose, where he tapes fear, the word fear, in red duct tape onto his sweater. So that's what I did. I just duct taped fear onto my sweater.
And I
And
remember being so nervous when you did this because taking a sweater with the word fear duct taped to it to public school, looking back on it, was probably not a good idea to let you do. And I just remember being so nervous that day. Go ahead.
the worst thing that came from it was the fact that nobody understood it. Um, I don't know. I maybe in my head everybody was as big of an Office fan as I was, but they weren't, and not a single person understood it. Even the people who I was friends with, who I talked to, who had seen The Office, they're like, "Yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about." But I show up to my my physics class, which was my last class of the day, and I'm already very discouraged because nobody liked my costume.
Yeah,
And
and being your last class of the day, it started like at 10:30, right?
I literally left school every day at I think 1:45. So he uh, he walks up to me at the beginning of class and he goes, "Hey, I like your costume." And I was very surprised. I said, "Oh wow, thanks. You a big Office fan?" And he goes, "What?" And I said, "The show, the Office. Do you like it?" And he goes, "I've never seen it." So he
You
just
just like the
liked.
fact that you had fear on your sweatshirt.
I don't know. Maybe he thought it was like a social commentary about Halloween or whatever. But yeah,
That's great. Oh my gosh. What is going to be you said you're going to be a Target basket, right? For
I
this
am
this
going
this
to be.
Halloween?
It's not that I'm going to be a Target basket. It's that I get to be a Target basket.
You get to be a Target basket. Caleb, are you doing anything for Halloween? Are you doing anything fun for Halloween?
I'm gonna be spam.
Oh my gosh, I have a joke. But you can't react to it, Caleb, because I already sent it to you, but Luke hasn't heard this. So Luke, if you get a message from me about canned meat, don't open it. It's spam.
Boo. Tomato, 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 boo.
For some reason, my Instagram feed was just giving me dad joke after dad joke after dad joke the last couple of days, and that was one of them. So thank
For
you very
some
much.
reason, it's because you interact with it and it adds it to the algorithm.
Algorithm.
I have
Uh,
uh, I have a question.
go.
Why'd you make me watch Bram Stoker's Dracula?
It's because it's Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Whatever. Why'd you make me
well,
watch that?
well, we were going to record an episode talking about Dracula, Bram Stoker's Dracula from 1992, starring the amazing Keanu Reeves, Winona Ryder, and Gary Oldman is pretty good too. Oh yeah, and there's a guy named Anthony Hopkins in there. He's
Keanu
pretty
Reeves
decent
isn't
actor.
even in it that much.
Well, he's Jonathan Harker, and he's not. He's sort of a part of the story, but he gets the story kicked off. But then he doesn't really
Yeah,
he's
and
not
then
like
you
a
just like
main character.
forget about him.
So to answer your question, I didn't make you do anything. I asked you guys if you'd be interested in watching it and then recording an episode about it, and that's being replaced by this nonsense because of our divergent schedules. And I actually was going to ask if you ended up watching it. I know Caleb couldn't. I honestly started watching it and wasn't able to finish it, so I still have like 20 minutes left before I can say that I've really watched it, except for the fact that I loved that movie in the 90s. So yeah, you watched it. And what? I'm hearing that you didn't enjoy it or what?
I was really confused. It's
It can be a confusing movie.
There's a lot happening, and there's a lot of characters, and they all talk funny.
I have an idea.
Go.
I want I will pitch it to the group. You should say your favorite and least favorite part without context, and I just want to hear it and be confused.
For both of us?
Sure.
Okay. Luke, favorite and least favorite part with no context. And I'm not sure at this point we could spoil a story that was written, I don't even know, and Bram Stoker's Dracula was written as 1800s or something.
Um,
They made a movie in the 1800s?
They actually did.
Wow.
I think my favorite part was when they exorcised that woman in the coffin.
Lucy?
Yeah,
That's so gross.
and she just spits blood all over the guy.
So gross.
That
That
sounds
was cool.
awful.
It's so gross. And if that's your favorite part, what's your least favorite part?
No, I actually I thought that was good. I thought it was good because like the build up to it was cool, and then the fact that because it's like the sort of the first time you see them actually working against a vampire, so it like establishes that they're not just totally helpless against the vampires. Um, Least favorite part, the it's not that the dialogue or that the tone or anything was bad. It was very cohesive and it all like made sense and it all fit the tone. I just didn't like the
Don't you dare say Keanu Reeves' English accent. Don't you dare.
oh my
Don't you
god, he
dare.
didn't even have an accent. He was just talking like
Don't you
Keanu Reeves.
do not disparage Keanu Reeves in any way, shape, or form. He's magnificent
No,
in that movie.
I mean like the sort of the tone and like the general feel of the movie just felt like, I don't know, it was weird. It didn't make
It
me
is
like,
weird.
it didn't make me uncomfortable in the way of like I got chills down my back. It was uncomfortable like a wet sock.
Ew.
Luke's review of Francis Ford Coppola's 1992 classic Bram Stoker's Dracula. It's uncomfortable like a wet sock. I'm going to put that out in quotes. You should put that on like IMDb or whatever the Rotten Tomatoes review thing is.
I used to get really, really, really bored in school. So they would give us Chromebooks, but all the good websites were blocked. So I would just go on Google and I would do really, really long and in depth movie reviews. I did one about Ratatouille, and I went on this really long thing about how Remy was a fascist and it's the glorification of rats in France. And it I'm sure if you look deep enough into the reviews, you would find it, and it actually got like a couple hundred likes. So it's good.
I
Public
don't
service
understand.
announcement, listener, do not go looking for Luke's movie reviews on whatever that is.
Full disclosure, they were written when I was like 17, so statutes of limitation has passed, I think.
Yeah, he's like 19 now.
I genuinely do not understand how you could hate school because you never did school.
That's a really valid point.
It's also very wrong. You both were very good students. I have to come in and defend mom and my parenting skills. You guys are very smart people.
Oh, by no means is this commentary on your parenting, but you can lead a horse to water.
My favorite part about Bram Stoker's Dracula, the 1992 Francis Ford Coppola classic, which is the second time now I've called it that because I'm being a little ironic, it was not received well when it first came out. I don't know its opinion on it now. I'm not sure if it's like aged well with time. I wouldn't be able to tell you. I'd love to know though. But I loved it. Like I could not get enough of this movie when it came out in my senior year of high school. And Gary Oldman is my favorite part of that movie. He's incredible. Like I legitimately think he should have won awards for that performance. He played Dracula, of course. And honestly, I think you should watch it, Caleb, just because Luke is right. It is odd. It is visually weird. The effects, I think, on purpose are weird, and I think sometimes some of the performances are made to be weird. I don't know if that's true or not,
I
but
got that feeling too because it wasn't like bad acting or anything. It was a choice that they made to go for a certain tone, and that's why everybody was like that in the movie. So it made sense.
yeah,
Based off of Luke's really, really high review of Wet Sock, I am jumping at just oozing
chomping at the
excitement
bit.
wanting to watch this movie.
Yeah, you should watch it. It's an experience. It's a real experience. I'm so dumb with my worst or like. So my favorite thing is Gary Oldman. He just does a magnificent. He plays so many different versions of Dracula in this. Like there's all these different. You see Dracula in all these different forms, and it's always Gary Oldman doing it, and he just does such an incredible job that even watching it, and I have not seen it for years, but going back and having watched it a couple days ago, even though yes, I didn't finish it, I was still like immediately hooked by Gary Oldman and the way he just does everything in that movie. The thing I like least about it is the part of the story that like he's stealing Mina away from Jonathan Harker. And I know that's probably it's a love story. The way that they do this movie, and the book is not a love story. The backstory that you get in this movie and like sort of the connection, a lot of the motivation that Dracula has in the movie is not in the original book. But I think it's a cool addition to the 1992 movie is like the love story angle, but that involves him trying to steal Jonathan Harker's love away from him and get in the middle of this this loving couple's relationship. And that's always been like, I hate that part. I hate it. But like going back to the Gary Oldman thing, I really think that this movie gets vampires right. Like it is vampires are, even though we just talked about the Lost Boys a couple weeks ago and I declared my undying love for the Lost Boys, they're monstrous vampires, they're bad guys in that movie, but like when you see Dracula at his worst in this movie, that's how vampires are. They're not supposed to be.
No, he's evil.
He's ooh incarnate. He's evil incarnate. He's a monster. He's an absolute monster. And even though he can present himself in like an appealing way, and that's part of the whole vampire myth, he is an absolute gross monster at times. And to me, that's part of the vampire story that has been lost in modern vampire storytelling. And this movie gets that really right. So, yeah, Caleb, I'd still love it if you watch it and give me your ideas or your thoughts on it because it's just really good. So, yeah,
Yeah, I
there's
definitely intend to. I will definitely just keep thinking of wet sock, wet sock, wet sock, but I will try to get through it.
it's really gross. It's really really gross. So I have a question. You remember what an anchor being is from Deadpool and
Yes.
Wolverine?
I do.
Who is the anchor being in our world?
Morgan Freeman.
I was about to say Morgan Freeman.
Damn.
What?
That's how you know he's the anchor being.
Yep.
I can get behind that.
He has been an old man since you were a kid and hasn't aged today. So I think that serves to say that he is the anchor being of this universe.
So then we're still safe, right? Because like the whole thing with the anchor being is even though it may take thousands of years, that once your anchor being dies, like your world is in trouble. So we're still safe with Morgan Freeman. He's still healthy, vibrant, performing wonderful roles and voiceovers and everything.
Yeah, I really, really hope we're wrong and there's a different anchor being because I don't think he's immortal.
Well, I mean, you guys just made the point that he's been an older fellow since I was a kid, and I'm old now, and he hasn't aged at all. So maybe he isn't.
That's what I'm
I
saying. Like, you don't
see.
know you're immortal until you were like, never died.
I see your statement and I raise you Betty White.
So I was gonna ask when she died because if that adds up with like when COVID happened, then that I could see a argument being made for her being our anchor being.
No, she survived the worst of COVID. COVID, according to the Google, she died December 31st, 2021. So that was already, it was still, I guess, the tail end of the pandemic and whatnot, but I think she survived the bulk of it. So I mean, I can get behind her being the anchor being. It's sort of funny that we're guessing or that we're like choosing like actors. I guess that's because we have a pop culture podcast.
That's true. But that's also probably the easiest answers. And if you were an anchor being, I feel like you would hide in plain sight like they would, you know?
If you're an anchor being, though, do you know you're an anchor being, or are you just an anchor being?
I don't know. You got to pull a couple strings to get Morgan Freeman on our podcast.
Yeah, so if anybody out there has Morgan Freeman, Mr. Freeman's number, just send him a little texty text and say that the ColbyCast would like to have him on. We would be very happy with that.
Or just
Marshall Erickson would be a good anchor being.
like, are you saying Jason Segel would be our anchor being, or that Marshall Erickson in the How I Met Your Mother universe is their anchor being?
No, I think that Jason Segel would be in agreement with me that Marshall Erickson is a way better person than any of us, so it's Marshall Erickson.
How would we
Is that
make
what
that
goes into
person
this?
exist?
What? What?
You go ahead.
Okay, go on three. Ready? One. No, go ahead, Luke.
I didn't know that like being a good person qualified you to be an anchor being. I thought it was just sort of like, yeah, we're going with this guy.
I mean, I think the precedent is that like Logan from the whatever that world is, 10,005 or whatever, was like a hero, albeit an what is it called, an anti-hero kind of guy that makes bad choices, but ultimately was a good guy. I'm just sort of going with that precedent.
What were you gonna say, Caleb?
I don't remember.
He's in his post Dodgers World
Yeah,
Series winning bliss right now, so we have to
the
be
Dodgers
patient with
are
Caleb.
world champs.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna get behind Morgan Freeman or Betty White. I would also take this opportunity to remind the world of my undying love for Keanu Reeves and say that he would be an excellent anchor being as well. Yeah. If you could only eat one dessert for the rest of your life, what would that dessert be?
So, question: is this one specific type of dessert, or like if I said blank, it would categorize every type of blank?
So it would have to appear on a dessert menu. So no, not a one kind of dessert. So if it's going to be on a dessert menu, it's a dessert, and you can choose one, and you can only have that dessert for dessert the rest of your life.
So, on that logic, if I went to BJ's and ordered Pizookie, it would
You can
only be
only
one
have a
kind of
Pizookie
Pizookie?
for the rest of your life.
There are different kinds of Pizookies.
I am not allowing for different types of no. Just you have to choose one type of Pizookie.
Boo.
I see what you're doing though. You're trying to get two desserts in one because a Pizookie is like a mini pizza sized cookie
Yeah.
with a big glob of ice
Yeah.
cream on it. So I see
It's a
how you're working there, and I like the way you're thinking.
thank you.
My answer to this question, by the way, to give you guys a little bit more time to think, is the Costco birthday cake. That's it. End of the story.
So
Costco
like,
birthday cake. Love it.
you know, your 50th birthday, your 25th anniversary, you got a big promotion, big big event. We take you out to a nice steakhouse for dinner, and they walk out with a Costco ice cream cake.
No, it's not the ice cream cake. It's not the ice cream cake. It's just the one with the uber sugary frosting where you bite into it and you can like taste the crunch of the sugar granules. It's just that super
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
sugary, cheap white cake, white frosting, sprinkles on top. It's got way too much frosting.
There's a name
That's
for
my
it. It's a
what is
cavity cake.
it? And then I'll
That's a
take a
great
Costco
name.
cavity cake.
I know what I would want.
Were you gonna tell us?
I just wanted to feel wanted. I wanted something to be excited, to be like, oh wow, I can't wait to hear what you have to
Oh
say.
yeah, well,
Oh
I
my
can't wait to
gosh,
hear.
Luke. I can't wait to
Tell
hear
us,
what you have to say. Could you
tell us,
what is
tell
it?
us,
What is
tell
it?
us,
Come on,
tell us,
Luke. What
Well,
tell us.
is
now
it?
I don't want to anymore. Creme brulee.
Nice. That was a
Wow, that's
good
so
answer.
bougie. I'm so
Yeah,
proud of you.
I was gonna say mine is in the same realm of bougie.
My other option would be um vanilla ice cream on a brownie.
Also a very good choice. I love the balance of texture and flavor
Mm.
there. Excellent. Also,
Yeah, but
quick side
Narc
note.
over
Quick.
there, Narc over there is gonna tell you that it's two desserts.
No, I didn't say that. You just can't have like all these variations of brownies and like you're trying to do with your Pazookies. Side note, real quick. There's a Handel's in Newport Beach now, right there
Nice.
on right there in Newport by the pier. So well, it's a little bit down from the pier, but anyway,
No
Handel's
free ads, but Handel's
top
is
notch.
the handles, whatever you pronounce it. Great ice
We
cream.
we love giving people their free flowers. We love it. So Luke, regale us with your undying love for creme brulee.
So I have to preface this with I'm not a big dessert guy, which is weird because I love sweets, but I also don't really like desserts. I don't know. but there's just something about a good creme brulee with maybe like a couple raspberries on top. Little it's sweet. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, it's not overly sweet because it's literally just caramelized sugar on top of what I think is pudding, maybe. But it's good. It's got a great consistency. It's sweet, but it doesn't. Well, at least the ones I've had don't make you like you know. There's some desserts where you just kind of feel gross after. They bring the molten chocolate lava cake, and you're like, oh, that's delicious. And then a couple bites in, you're like, ugh, I want to go into a sauna and sweat that out. Um,
The
but
actual chocolate is oozing itself out of you.
exactly, yeah, yeah, yeah. God, that's gross. Thanks for giving me a visual of that.
So to quickly move on because that is disgusting. Uh, Creme brulee is a custard, and then you, like you said, you just burn the sugar onto it. But a question I have for your creme brulee is: do you have fruit garnishing on top, or just straight up custard and sugar?
Oh no, I like the fruit garnish on top.
Yeah, raspberries and blueberries on top of a creme brulee are next level.
Not a blueberry guy. You can have the
Neither am
blueberry,
I.
like the
Don't know why. I
raspberries.
really like it on creme brulee.
False. You can just keep all the fruit off of my creme brulee. I just want I want the crunchy top. I want that like burnt, whatever that burnt brown sugar. Where when I cut into it, I want it to crunch.
It's caramelized. Okay, go back and watch High School Musical, and one of the basketball players will teach you how to make a creme brulee.
Okay, Iron Chef. Thank you,
I'm
Caleb.
not
What is
an
your
Iron
dessert?
Chef. I just watched High School Musical.
First, I just want to go on the record and say I put Ezra on macaroons. He did not do that himself. Macaroons are the best. I am a cookie fiend, but because
He's a
I need
baby. He didn't do anything himself.
this is true, but I just needed to put that on the record. Um, Now I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, uh, I feel like if done really well, tiramisu, and I'm not a coffee person. Tiramisu is fantastic, and that would be my dessert of choice. Because again, like Luke's, not super overly sweet because the coffee makes it a little bit like cuts to down the sweetness with bitterness. But man, there are levels to it because a crappy. Can I say that?
Yeah, I'll allow it.
Okay, cool. Um, a crappy creme brulee is not good. A crappy tiramisu, not good. But it is still better than like a crappy cookie, you know?
So a couple of thoughts. First of all, Sidebar Donuts, located in Costa Mesa. Thank you very
Sidecar.
much. Sidebar, side sidecar donuts. Yeah, if I'm going to give out free flowers, I need to get the names right.
True.
Sidecar Donuts in Costa Mesa has a tiramisu donut right
What?
now. Yeah, it's a featured thing where it has like a pound of frosting on top of it, and then something just like stuck on the top of that frosting. So it's donut frosting and then something else sweet just jammed in there. And also there is a macaroon store at downtown Disney. Like the whole thing is just macaroons.
Very
So
nice.
sorry, don't know the name for me to get it wrong. So I think I stole two questions. That was two questions of mine in a row. So I apologize. So feel free. What's your next question?
Who was next? I forgot.
I don't know. Are we going in order? Like do or are we just
I don't know.
remember we're
I
just
think we
talking
like
until there's no more words in our head.
I just I think we like the concept of order, but we never actually stick to the order.
I'm a man of extremes. I have made my bed every single day. The first thing I get out of the first thing I do when I get out of bed is I make my bed every single day. I have not left the house with my bed unmade. I haven't left my room with my bed unmade in years. And everything I do is on a very strict regimen and very detail oriented, but also like when I am not doing those things, I am absolutely scatterbrained and a total mess, and I like to live in that chaos.
Was there a question in there, or you just
No, because
making
Caleb was talking about
declarative statements?
orders.
Oh yeah, you do like your order.
Yeah.
The only order I'm interested in is when I get to order my Costco cake from the bakery.
I'm gonna hit you with a hot take here. Krispy Kreme is the perfect donut. I don't need the glazed Krispy Kreme, by the way. I don't need any other sprinkles, any other frostings, fillings. I don't want a donut sandwich. I just want a glazed Krispy Kreme donut. I would take that over any donut on the planet.
There is a place called After's Ice Cream. They do ice cream sandwiches, but not with cookies. They do it with donuts. And it is the most messy thing you could eat because the donut is served to you slightly warm. And I don't know if you know, but if you add warm to ice cream, it's no longer ice.
What is it?
Cream.
Oh. Um if you could live in any fictional universe, which one would you live in and why?
The
Well,
Lego
first of all,
universe.
I didn't get a chance to address your Krispy Kreme hot take, and I don't
Oh,
agree.
well, it's not up for discussion, so
Oh, okay. Well, I'm still going to discuss it.
it wasn't an
I,
opinion, it was a fact.
I I don't think that there's ever a bad donut. They're like pizza, and yes, maybe there's better donuts than others, but like Krispy Kreme is great and all, but like I'm not going to. It's not going to go into like an In-N-Out burger discussion. Like In-N-Out burger is unequivocally the best burger ever. But I don't know that I could be like, I don't want that donut. It's not a Krispy Kreme. You know what I mean? I'm gonna eat the donut. That's what I guess that's what I'm trying to say is I'm gonna eat the donut. So thank you for letting me get that off my chest. Oh, I feel so much better. So fictional universes?
That is, I definitely think that's a sentence and a thought that Homer Simpson has had.
Yeah, I'm gonna eat the donut.
Yeah, no, just the entire stream of consciousness that you just spoke.
We have a pumpkin that is painted as a Simpsons donut right now on our front porch.
I saw that. That's top tier.
I did it. Me. I did it all
Just
by
you.
myself.
Way to go, buddy. Way to go. Man,
No,
you're so good at painting pumpkins.
I know, and I don't even need credit.
So
So,
no.
I have a question. If I just walked into your room one day and you weren't here and I messed up your bed, would you just like spidey sense and know?
Well, you wouldn't be able to walk into my room because the lasers would tear you to shreds. Um, you're talking to the same guy who will get out of bed in the middle of the night and remake my bed.
What?
I
I
think we
do
need to
that.
have I think we need to have a discussion off air, Luke.
I can't sleep if my room is messy. I can't sleep if I have laundry that's, folded sitting on my couch, and I can't sleep in a bed that has not been made. If like I take a nap during the day and I leave the bed unmade, which like I wouldn't, but hypothetically if I did, I would have to make it right before I went to bed. When I go to a hotel, if the room service doesn't come, I make my bed. I
No, you're a psychopath. Psychopath. I
I
was letting it
wake
slide
up
till right then and there. You're a
when I'm
psychopath.
uncomfortable. If I'm uncomfortable in bed, I will get up. I will take all of my pillows and blankets off my bed and I will remake it. And every pillow has a specific spot that it goes in. And anytime someone else tries to make my bed for me, they do it wrong. So I have to do it myself.
I am
I
absolutely racking my brain trying to find a comparable to make fun of you, but there's nothing else that exists
It's
like the thing
Sheldon
you
Cooper
just
and his
described.
seat on the couch.
No, because that was just a leather cushion. He didn't stand up, remake it, and go back in the dead of night.
Yes, he would stand up and like refluff it, and he wouldn't even sit on it if it didn't have the cushion on it. So I think
Not,
it's a pretty close comparable. I just wanted to say that I'm
not in
just
the dead of night.
I feel like we're making a lot of progress here, Luke. I'm very proud of the progress we're making. And listener, if you're out there listening to this, I live with this. I live with this in my house.
So
Yeah, I go around making other people's beds.
That's not
So if,
true.
Yeah, like
so if you're not home tomorrow or another day and I mess up your bed and you come home, are you just gonna like go into a fit and a frenzy?
He's going to crumple wherever he is in the world when the bed gets messed up. He's going to crumple into a ball, and he needs to be reset.
I will stop whatever I'm doing. Like if I was here like in a rush or in a panic, I will make my bed. And if you were to do that, or if you come, okay, well, if you were about to come over, and I dropped my drawer, because if
I
you
had
came
no
over,
idea. I
if
had
you
no
came
idea
over,
this episode was going to turn into like True Confessions with Luke.
I can't
The
leave
best
my
thing.
house until I shower too. I cannot leave my house until I shower.
I
Do
think
you
the
know
world
that
thinks you. I
scene?
think more people should feel that way.
Do you know that scene from Wally where Mo has finally cleaned everything and then Wally just like scrubs Mo's face with like a small amount of dirt and he just loses it?
Of course.
I feel like I need to recreate that right now, like as we record live. I just need to unmake Luke's bed.
You're just going to go walk across the hall and then just like put your hand right in the middle and just push down.
No, I don't even like need to do all that. Like I'm just gonna go and like move a pillow, undo a sheet. Like just saying this, I know is making Luke itch.
I'm
I
just
have
thinking about how I would fix it.
I'm desperately trying to figure out how I can steer this conversation back to what fictional universe would you live in, because it's such a good question. So I'm just trying, but I'm failing miserably at it.
I
So
got you. I got you. I can build a bridge in any conversation. I would want to live in the Lego universe because you wouldn't ever have to make a bed in the Lego universe.
I would make
you
a bed.
literally make everything in a Lego universe. It's
You're
Legos.
right now. Tell me how you make a Lego blanket.
Get a really thin piece of Lego and put it on top of other Legos that are clicked together in a form of a bed.
Okay, now get in the bed.
Then you just take it out and then you just
You
lay
would
it
lay
on,
on
like
top of
wobbly
a
on you.
blanket. You would
Oh,
lay
that's
on
true.
top of said blanket.
Okay, you win.
I would want to be a bounty hunter in the Star Wars universe because that seems like a blast. No pun intended. Get it? 'Cause
I love it. That's
Um,
fantastic.
see, mine are good and they're unintentional. So remind me later to tell you about the joke that one of the kids told me today. But there's another universe that you guys don't know about. Highly recommend you guys check this show out on Max. It's called Scavenger's Reign. I think it's 8 episodes, and each episode's probably like 30 to 40 minutes. And it's one of the best animated shows I've ever seen. It takes place on this planet in distant space where a space crew crash landed, and the planet there is just full of all this strange nature and life, and the it's also like actively trying to kill everyone on it, so that's kind of terrifying. But that's just one of many planets that they only show that planet, but they imply that there are a ton of other planets like that, or you know, at the very least, like full of adventure that way. And I think that would be cool because I like space, and space is cool.
Space is cool. And you said this was what? Savage Rain?
Scavenger's Reign.
Scavenger's Rain. And where is it available to stream?
Now streaming on Max.
Yeah, you said both of those things, so thank you. Yeah, I also like space, so I would pick the Star Wars universe, but I don't think that surprises anybody in any way, shape, or form. I would like to travel through hyperspace. I would like to. Well, I mean, I have put the Millennium Falcon into hyperspace. That was pretty cool. But the hyperspace in that ride is so short. It's like you go into it and then you come right out of it. So I would like to, get up and play some Djarik, or maybe talk to, one of the Star Wars people while the Falcon is like going through, the blue tube of hyperspace. I would like to maybe do some lightsaber training with a blast shield over my eyes like Luke Skywalker. All kinds of fun things. I would like to ride a Purgle. Like, I would like to hang out with the Purgle like Ezra Bridger. That would be pretty cool. So yeah, no surprise there. Star Wars universe for me. Thanks.
I have a question, and it's just for Dad because we're following up on one. Did you ever say what you're gonna be for Halloween?
I am going to be a middle-aged man handing out candy to trick-or-treaters, dressed appropriately to do that job.
Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes.
So you have a time machine?
You're so funny. You're, s- you're, you're so funny.
You can't even get mad because you said yes.
I did say that. Yes. Yeah, I loved handing out uh, candy to the trick or treaters. Oh, I mentioned we went to the trunk or treat last weekend for our niece and nephew Ezra and Lucia's little baseball park had a trunk or treat. This is where people like open up their vehicles and do a little display. It was really cool. Lots of people there, and my heart was so happy when I saw a young kid, maybe 10. Luke, do you think he was 10? And he was dressed
Right around
as
there.
Indiana Jones. And I was just so happy to see that, because Indiana Jones lives on in the heart of the youths. I was so happy.
That is awesome. Um, in the building I work in, you have to go downstairs, and then there's like a gym and a Starbucks and like a whole little like shopping center almost. And then you keep going downstairs, and there's a parking lot. Coming up the elevator as I was going, or escalator, as I was going down the escalator, was a child with his assumingly mother or female caretaker, whoever, and his sister, who were dressed up as Captain Jack Sparrow and remind me of the female counterpart in Pirates.
Oh, Kira Knightley,
Jane?
whatever
Yes.
her. Who?
Jane?
Jane. Maybe.
Elizabeth Swan.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's what I
Jane.
said.
Yeah,
So
but
who was Captain Jack? The kid?
yeah, the no,
Amazing.
no,
That's great.
the boy and his sister, who were both no older than maybe 5 or 6, were coming up the escalator, and they were dressed as it, and it was very very accurate. Like there was no doubt in my mind they were not pirates. They were from the Pirates of the Caribbean.
That's pretty cool.
It was
At the
cool.
trunk or treat, we saw no less than 3 or 4 Deadpools. Right, there was a Deadpool. Only one of them was walking around with Wolverine. We saw, of course, Ezra and Lucia were dressed as Woody and Jesse from Toy Story. That was adorable. Luke, you took your Target basket, but you didn't wear it, did you?
I did not. I was on baby duty.
Yeah, you did a great job. Yeah, that was fun. So I can't wait to see. It's one of my favorite things about Halloween is seeing all the different characters and all the different costumes, uh, all the way from the little wee ones all the way to the larger, older kids that get really like what's the word I'm looking for? Very they have these very well put together costumes.
Conundrum.
It's not conundrum. Stop confusing me more than I already have made myself. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to doing that. So if anybody's listening to this on Halloween, just know that in a few hours we will be handing out candy to some wonderfully dressed little costumers. All right, other questions?
On that same note, I need more dogs in sheets as costumes because those do something for my brain.
Dogs in sheets, like
Yeah,
ghost dogs?
yeah, it's so cute.
Have you ever worn a sheet?
No, never.
I'm
Visibility
just
in
one.
it is rough.
Well, you
I was
give
gonna
them a bunch
say.
of treats after. You just make them sit. You're not making them run around the city with it on.
I was having the same question. Like, wouldn't it like sort of fall all over the place? But okay, so if you're telling them to sit and putting a sheet over and taking a picture, I'm on board. I'm on
We
board with
have
that. So
had
if
this conversation before, and this is okay because it gives me more reason to look up the pictures so I can show you guys.
so listener, if anybody's out there and has wonderful pictures of your dog dressed up as a ghost, send them our way so I can share them with Caleb. Yeah, dogs and sheets. E.T. the extraterrestrial, is that a Halloween movie?
Yes.
They go trick or treating, so yes.
Okay. Do you guys know the story about how E.T. sees Yoda in that do you remember that scene where they're
Yeah, I
going
know
trick or
that
treating?
scene. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so he sees Yoda and he starts saying home, home, home. Well, of course Steven Spielberg put that in as a nod to uh, for George Lucas.
Yeah.
Right,
Because
because
in ET has people on the council. So it
right.
makes
So
sense.
then further down the road, George Lucas put E.T. in the Star Wars movies in, yeah, like one of those Coruscant Congress scenes, the Senate scene. Um, but he didn't tell George Lucas he did that. So George Lucas got to sit down and see one of the early cuts of the films because, he and Spielberg were really close friends. And I think I'm sorry, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Empire Strikes Back had only come out maybe like a year or 2 years before ET. I'm blanking on what year ET came out. I think it was 81, could have been 82. At any rate,
45.
Empire Strikes Back had not been out that long, and of course Yoda was introduced in that scene or in the movie. So anyway, he puts him in there. Didn't tell George Lucas. So then they're sitting there watching it with other movie execs and stuff. And George Lucas, like, he looks over at him, gives him a nudge, and got a big smile on his face. So anyway, but I love the intertextuality of the movie E.T. the Extraterrestrial. That's a very fancy term. I'm not going to talk about what that means. So go ahead. What was your next question?
One of my favorite things that they do in
That's not a
Smartless.
question.
I didn't say I had a question. One of my favorite things they do in Smartless is their like bye gag at the end.
Bye.
It cracks me up. They just have the most outlandish ways to just get to the point, and sometimes you absolutely see it coming, other times you don't. But that is a very good podcast, and I felt like in addition to our 3,399,202 weeks in a row where we've recorded, I felt like we needed to make sure we kept a streak going where we talked about the Smartless podcast on our podcast.
Well, I appreciate that because I hadn't mentioned Smartless for a while. So you did it, and that takes it off of me. So I'm happy about that. Well, I don't know about you guys, but my brain is empty. You guys have anything left in your brain?
Go
I never
Dodgers.
have.
Yes, go Dodgers. And Luke, I think you choose to put some things in your brain from time to time.
Yeah, it's sort of like catching butterflies with a net, just
It's a pretty effective way of catching butterflies.
better than using.
All right, well, the streak remains alive. We're proud of our little podcast that could. We just keep chugging along, and we appreciate everybody that's listening and that gives us feedback. We have created so many fun friendships and met so many awesome people through the world of podcasting, and we love the fact that you guys listen to us and that we're a part of the bigger conversation. We're happy to contribute our rambling voices to that. So thank you all for listening. We hope that everyone has a very happy and safe Halloween, or if you're listening to this after the fact, that you had a happy and safe Halloween. So for Caleb and for Luke, this is Colby reminding you to make your bed. And if you forget, Luke will come over and make it for you. If you enjoyed this episode, let us know. You can find the ColbyCast on Instagram, Threads, and X at the ColbyCast. Episodes can also be found on YouTube, so like and subscribe. If you feel so inclined, rate and review our show on your podcatcher of choice. That really helps the show beat the algorithm, and helps us find new friends to add to the conversation. If you're wordy, like me, you can send an email to thecolbycast@gmail.com. All music is licensed through Adobe Stock and performed by Pro Music 24. This podcast is not endorsed by anyone or anything for that matter. It's intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of the ColbyCast unless otherwise indicated.
That'll do, donkey. That'll do.